All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jermall Charlo and Jaime Munguia. According to reports, that fight is off. Could not agree because of certain issues and a very predictable circumstance. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jermall Charlo getting ducked by Jaime Munguia. And yeah, ducked. But before I get into that, let's first say welcome back to the channel to all of the subscribers and the people that support on a regular basis. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And again, thank you so much for your support day in and day out. We do a lot of work over here, and you guys coming by, listening to the videos, chopping it up with me, leaving comments is greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so let's get to this. A lot of reports came out that Jermall Charlo versus Jaime Munguia was agreed to, and that they are going to fight for Jermall Charlo's 160-pound belt. When I heard this news, the first thing that I thought to myself was, that doesn't sound right to me, because I don't believe that Oscar De La Hoya is going to throw Jaime Munguia and actually fit in there with Jermall Charlo and actually make a serious fight for Jaime Munguia. And what I also said, and I maintain, is if this fight falls through, that is telling you what the problem is with Jermall Charlo and all of this stuff about, well, why don't you fight anybody? Why doesn't he choose to pick this guy, choose to pick that guy? When the guy has a belt and a guy like Jaime Munguia will turn down, and their people will turn down a fight to give him an opportunity to win that belt, that just speaks volumes. Now, why did the fight, according to reports, why did the fight, and this is Michael Benson reporting this, why did Jaime Munguia reject the fight or the fight not come through? Because according to him, they have that the fighters agreed to terms. However, their representatives could not agree on the broadcast on where the fight was going to be aired, whether or not the fight was going to be on Dazn or whether the fight was going to be either on Showtime or Fox, right? That is why the fight falls apart. Now, watch this. Jaime Munguia is the challenger, and Jaime Munguia is the guy that is being offered the fight. Why would the PBC, who have Jermall Charlo as their champion, agree to fight Jaime Munguia over on Dazn? That seems to me to be one of those conversations we have about who is the A side and who is the B side in a particular circumstance, right? Obviously, Showtime or Fox, whichever one it is, but I have a suspicion that it's Showtime, wants to get Jermall Charlo a fight with a marquee name. But they're trying to get a fight with the marquee name and putting the money up for the fight to get them to have him fight on Showtime. So for Munguia's people, who would obviously be Oscar De La Hoya and Dazn, to say, well, yeah, we'd love to have the fight, but the fight needs to be on Dazn, seems to me to be nothing but an out-and-out duck of Jermall Charlo and another situation where Jaime Munguia has an opportunity to fight a Charlo and does not do it because their guys do not want Jaime Munguia to lose. And that is the only way that I would interpret that. That is a champion. That is a shot to get a championship shot at the WBC title, and them acting as if he's not going to take the fight unless Jermall Charlo goes over and fights Munguia over on their network. Absolutely predictable, absolutely ridiculous, and tells you exactly what the problem is with getting a lot of these guys fights. Jaime Munguia is probably one of the most protected fighters in boxing. The guy, and he has what, like 30 fights and still ain't fighting anybody. was fighting at 154 pounds, held the WBO belt at 154 pounds, and it was so obvious that the man had no intention on fighting any other major guy at 154 pounds that people virtually considered a 3-belt championship to be the undisputed champion at 154, because it was just absolutely ridiculous to think that Jaime Munguia would fight any of them, right? The media didn't put any pressure on Jaime Munguia to fight anybody, to fight those guys, right? They were just like, well, he's not ready, he's a developing fighter, whatever. But he's a developing fighter with a belt. And once you have a belt, you're supposed to defend that belt against your mandatory, or preferably against another champion, or if you have a voluntary, to defend it against a top-ranked guy that, a top-ranked guy that is a voluntary. So as far as what it means for Jermall Charlo and Jermall Charlo, I'm telling you, man, these dudes do not want to fight those Charlo guys, and they are trying to make cash cows out of some of these dudes. And do that to the exclusion of any chance that these guys will actually lose. And while I do think the scenario is different for Canelo, it's not that much more difficult. That's not that much different for Canelo. However, what you're going to hear is with Jaime Munguia, if Jaime Munguia is actually put in a situation where he becomes a star, people are going to be like, well, what has Jermall Charlo done deserve the fight with Jaime Munguia? You know what I mean? Like ludicrousness like that, man. But like I said, man, I am not surprised at all that this fight fell apart. I was absolutely shocked when Jaime Munguia even acted like he was going to take it. Now, what Jaime Munguia is going to do next, I don't know, because he was set to fight for the WBO mandatory title eliminator for the WBO belt that would have led to a fight. If Demetrius Andrade was still at the weight class, with a fight with Demetrius Andrade, but I don't see him doing that either. What I'm going to tell you, what I see happening with him is I see him going, Jaime Munguia, them waiting around for a chance for him to fight an aged Gennady Golovkin for a vacant belt after Gennady Golovkin loses to Canelo Alvarez, if those guys wind up having that fight. Something that is going to be, a champion, where you got Jaime Munguia as a champion. They're going to do anything to bend over backwards for this guy because they believe that he's eventually going to be able to sell tickets, man. So, it's just a shame, man. I would have had respect for Jaime Munguia if he would have got in there with Jermall Charlo. However, I don't believe Jaime Munguia was going to win that fight. I don't think any reasonable person would think that Jaime Munguia was going to win that fight. But it would do for Jermall Charlo was give him an opportunity to go in there and knock Jaime Munguia out, because Jaime Munguia is going to come to fight. But the problem with Jaime Munguia is that Jaime Munguia gets hit so much that Jermall Charlo is definitely going to be able to lay something on that dude. But anyway, it is what it is. Kind of a frustrating situation from my point of view, but that's boxing. You literally got a guy that is a contender not taking a fight against a champion because he wants the A-side treatment and have the champion come over and fight on his network. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Peace.